I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sharon Noble. She's the director of the Coalition to Stop Smart Meters in BC. Welcome back to the show, Sharon.
Hello, Jim.
Well, right now we have the Canadian Federation of Independent Business pleading not to get use of time billing for hydro because they look at the example of Hawaii. What's happened in Hawaii?
The rates are going crazy. Just as they are in Ontario, the rates are going up and up and up without any sort of end in sight. And when time of use billing comes in, those who use it during the peak hours, such as small businesses and families or individuals who are at home during those peak hours, the rates go up dramatically, double, triple in some instances of what it is. You know, for instance, if you're lucky enough to be able to cook and wash at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you're doing it during the day, or if you're trying to run a business during the day, you're going to really feel the pinch when time of use billing comes in British Columbia. And it will come in. In fact, in BC Hydro's business case that they laid out, you know, lauding the smart meter program, and when they sent out their specifications saying what they needed in a meter, time of use billing was high on the list. And in the business case that I saw, or in the projections of timing, the time of use billing aspect was supposed to be able to go live July 1st, 2012. And when I read the annual report, I can't remember which annual report it was, but that particular aspect was done on time. So it's there just waiting. And I suspect why they're waiting is because they still have a lot of people protesting the smart meters, and they don't want to give them another reason.
Do you also think it's because we have an election coming up in May?
Oh, that could very well be it. That could be a big part of it. The same reason as in the past, they have held the rates down until after the election. This government can't be trusted with anything, including any of the information they're giving us about things like this. You know, when you ask Hydro, or if you ask Bill Bennett about time of use billing, he says, you know, it's not in our current plans. That means nothing. You know, they won't commit to anything. And people who can least afford it will pay the price, and those are the people who, for instance, young families, where the people are home all day, the elderly, and the disabled. Those people are in their homes all day long, or most of the day, and they will be using electricity to stay warm in the winter, to stay cool in the summer, to wash their clothes, because they're home. They're watching television or listening to the radio, using their computers. They will be using electricity, and they will be paying through the nose.
Stay-at-home mums.
Yep.
I was going to say, too, when the government said, it's not in our current plans, I can take you back a few years to former Finance Minister Colin Hanson. I remember going to his constituency office in Point Grey and him saying the HST is not on the radar. Mm-hmm. Within a few weeks of being elected, they instituted the HST, and I said, you must have the world's worst radar set.
He had his radar turned off.
Exactly. Now, of course, if they say it's not in our plans right now, they can change those plans. And also I wonder, why did it only take 3 months to institute the HST, which meant all the cash registers and stuff had to be reprogrammed, but it took a year and a half to remove it after the people of BC voted to have it taken out?
Well, it's always, you know, tails you win, tails they win, heads you lose. That's the way it is with this government. It is unconscionable, some of the things that they're doing, some of the lies that they're telling, some of the laws that they're disregarding. It really is horrible. And, you know, there's no oversight for any of this stuff. The time of use billing is there, and no one's going to have any oversight for it because it's not allowed in the Clean Energy Act for the BC Utilities Commission to be involved in any shape, way, or form. They will just bring it in because that was part of the plan. It's there just waiting, hovering over us.
How bad is the situation in Hawaii where they've brought in time of use?
It's bad. It's bad. I don't have the rates right in front of me right now, Jim. Maybe you do. I know I sent them out in an update a few days ago. But I know that the rates have just gone astronomically high.
You said in the news release 400% increases in hydro bills in Hawaii.
And this is not unusual. We're seeing this in many of the states where this has been implemented, and in many other places as well outside North America. But people have complained that once time of use billing comes in, they're having to choose between food and heat. This is part of the problem in Ontario. Not every place in Ontario has time of use billing, but many of them do. Also in California, people are really suffering about this. It's not unusual to see the rates go up 300-400%. And the consumption, you can drive down your consumption. You can do everything possible to conserve energy, which was supposed to be one of the reasons for the smart meter, was to encourage people to cut their utilization. Well, in fact, you could be using nothing and you're still going to be paying through the nose. They will be getting it one way or the other. If they aren't getting it through their rates because people are cutting their electricity too much, they'll do like in Ontario and they'll increase the rates even more. They'll put in additional flat fees. This is a government, and this is a hydro, that is in a death spiral. They're going, because of their irresponsible decisions and their waste of money, our rates are going to be increasing. And they're going to be getting it through the smart meter because the smart meter is something they can control. They'll be getting it through higher fees, such as they did with the reconnection fees. They made it an additional $4 million a year by increasing the reconnection fees. They were able to turn those meters off at the flick of the switch and then charge you $125 to be reconnected. They did this for 3 years, and they made additional up to $4 million a year in these fees. This is just the beginning.
Can you imagine people might turn to the dangerous practice of using camping stoves to cook their dinner instead of using electricity?
A lot of people are. They're using wood stoves. They're using their barbecues. They're using campfires. They're also heating their home. They're heating their home with wood stoves and things like that. It's dangerous. It's dangerous what people are having to do. But they're having to make this choice because they can't afford electricity. This is an essential service. This is an essential service that we've paid for through our taxes for decades. It was a proud crown corporation, and I sincerely believe that this government is driving it into bankruptcy so that they can sell it off to their corporate buddies. They're going to privatize it, just as Hydro One is being privatized in Ontario. And we're going to be suffering until that happens, and probably after. It's a monopoly. What we need is some good competition.
How can you do that?
I don't know. But solar panels is one way. People are more and more going off the grid. And the prices are coming down. People are becoming more expert at installation. And the batteries for backup power are becoming cheaper, so you don't need hydro in any sense. Get off the grid and stay off the grid. I think this is what people are going to be doing. We have no choice. There's no competition. So it's those unfortunate people who will not be able to afford to go off the grid who will be stuck paying for all these terrible decisions.
The little people who can't afford to get off the grid.
Yep.
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after the break.
Gem International is a new diamond explorer in the richest diamond producing country in Africa, located next to the fourth largest producing diamond mine in the world. International Spotlight is on an 1109 carat diamond recently discovered in Africa by a fellow Canadian junior with a proven operator and finance team. Gem International trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol GI. Visit us at gemdiamondmining.com.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sharon Noble. Sharon, the director of technology for Nokia, one of the world's biggest cell phone makers, now blames RF for his health problems. Can you maybe explain?
He's become electrically sensitive after having been exposed to all this technology for many years. I know quite a few people who are unable to be around anything wireless, computers, cell phone, Wi-Fi, smart meters. If they go into a store, they become sick, they become nauseous, they become dizzy. There are many symptoms that people suffer from, and many of the people I know have worked in the IT industry. They've sold cell phones. Some of the people were some of the first ones in British Columbia to sell, have cell phone companies, to work around computers. Many of these people now are suffering terribly. And this is what this fellow did. He was one of the up-and-comers in Nokia. And he designed many of the programs. He worked very, very closely. He had a cell phone on him all the time. He was around this stuff all the time. And now he's sick. And he cannot be around any of the devices that he's designed.
You're also explaining, too, Nokia being one of the pioneers in the cell phone business. They had cell towers throughout Scandinavia long before we started building them in North America. Are they now paying the environmental price?
Yes. Yes, they've been paying the price for a while. As I told you, Jim, we moved to Europe to live in 1997, and I didn't know anybody who really used a cell phone. We had one of those old block phones because we had a sailboat, and we thought that there may be times when we needed to contact people. Right now I look back and I doubt it would have done us any good. We probably couldn't have made contact. But you didn't see people with cell phones in their pockets, and teenagers and kids with cell phones that they're carrying around all day. You just didn't see it here. But when we moved to Europe, people had cell phones. There were very, very few landlines, and their cell phones were doing things that were very, very sophisticated. They had, wide spans across Europe, not just in Scandinavia. It started out in Scandinavia, but we were living in Ireland and France, and in that time, everyone had cell phones. And yes, the number of people who are electrically sensitive are, I think that percentage is significantly higher than in North America. I don't know about the cancer rates, but I would bet you that they have cancer rates that are higher here than in North America as well. It takes time. It takes time for the radiation's effects to be felt. It doesn't come on immediately, as industry would like to make you think. If you walk in a room and you don't feel it immediately, it's not doing anything to you. That's not the way it works. It's cumulative. And these people who are electrically sensitive have probably been exposed to RF for a long time and in a number of situations. Look at the normal home. We have cordless phones, we have cell phones, we have Wi-Fi, we have wireless laptops, many have wireless baby monitors, and smart meters. For many, they've been exposed to these things for maybe the last 10 years, 15 years. That's really when most of these things became most common. It's just in this very, very short period of time. And for many, the smart meter seems to be the one that pushes them over the edge. And your body is telling you something it just can't take anymore. And we have to realize that just because we don't feel it now, just because we're not electrically sensitive, that doesn't mean our bodies aren't feeling it. They are. They're reacting. And one of these days, unless we cut our exposure by removing all the wireless devices in our home, eliminating our exposure at work, trying not to spend a lot of time where there's Wi-Fi, for instance, in libraries. I know it's very difficult at work, but in schools, we have to get these things removed and replaced with safe, reliable, and even better, from an efficiency standpoint, hardwired Ethernet cables. It's very, very sad. Once you become electrically sensitive, it seems that there's very little you can do except to escape. You've got to get away from this stuff. And many people are moving into rural areas in the Okanagan, to places, for instance, in West Virginia, where there's an observatory and no wireless devices are allowed. Places like this where people are having to give up their homes, their work, and oftentimes leaving families because they just cannot stand, they can't survive living in the polluted environment that we have right now. And these smart meters have made it even worse. People could turn off their Wi-Fi at night if they used it. They could shut off their cell phones. They could, if they could sleep well, the body is very resilient. It can recover. But with the smart meters, especially if it's on the bedroom wall, it's sending out hundreds and thousands of signals every day. I found information just this week, where with information that we've never seen before, that Hydro and Itron have never told us, where in some homes they're getting 100 and nearly 2 hours of signals a day. That's perhaps hundreds of thousands of signals a day. Our bodies can't take this. It's constant. It's like hitting you on the head with a hammer every single solitary moment that you're awake and every single moment that you're asleep. Your body's going to feel it, and you're going to get sick. And this is what's happening. These smart meters are dangerous. They are fire hazards. They are transmitters of heavy and high levels of microwave radiation. And if you don't feel it now, just wait. You will.
What's your opinion of the new iPhone 7 where they have wireless earphones instead of having the standard earphone jack?
My opinion is basically the same as the scientists that I've been reading. They think that this is absolutely nuts. That you are putting wireless devices as close to your brain as you can possibly get them. This is going to be shooting Wi-Fi right through your head. Absolutely crazy.
Like attaching two little microwave ovens.
Yep.
Sharon, thank you so much for chatting with us.
I appreciate it, Jim, and I would like to be able to talk to you some more one of these days because, this new information from Itron about the information that we've been misled about is very important and people need to hear it. So the next time we talk, I want to talk about that, okay?
Okay. My guest has been Sharon Noble, director of the Coalition to Stop Smart Meters in BC. Oh, by the way, Sharon, any websites people can go to?
Yes, we have two. The Coalition site is www.stopsmartmetersbc.com. And Citizens for Safe Technology, where we have most of the health information, is www.citizensforsafetechnology.org.
Thanks again, Sharon.
Thank you, Jim.
You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Questions for the show can be sent to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.